Good morning, students. My name is Praveen Kumar, working as PGT English at JNV1 Malkangiri, Odisha. Today, we are going to learn a beautiful poem called "Dust of Snow," written by Robert Frost. It is from First Flight textbook in English for class 10th. In this video, I'm going to discuss four things. Number one, introduction part, that is background of the poem. Number two, I'm going to discuss about the poet Robert Frost. Number three, a detailed explanation of the poem stanza wise. Number four, brief summary. See, students, my suggestion is better to watch this video in a computer or laptop so that you may not miss beautiful terms and beautiful sentences used by poet in written form. Okay, let's get into first part, that is introduction of the poem. Let us see what is the introduction to be known for this poem given by Robert Frost. The poem Dust of Snow, written by Robert Frost, is a simple and short poem, yet with a deeper and larger meaning. The poet explains how an act as petty as experiencing snow on one's body can brighten one's day up. That means small, petty means very small activity which was treated to be as a bad can experience the person to bring as a brighter day. That means the happiest day in one individual. The message of the poem is put into words by Robert Frost. They are, see, always a larger significance. A little thing touches a larger thing. These are the lines given by Robert Frost from this poem on his experience of on the day. Okay, let's discuss about poet. You can observe the picture. Robert Frost in full. Robert Lee Frost. He was born on March 26, 1874 in San Francisco, California, United States of America. He is an American poet who was much admired for his depictions of the rural life of New England. His command of American colloquial speech and his realistic verse portraying ordinary people in everyday situations. At end, he died on January 29, 1963 in Boston, United States of America. That end of Robert Frost. Let's get into detailed explanation of the poem stanza wise. I'll read out the stanza. I'll try to find out the difficult words from the stanza and we'll get into explanation of that poem according to Robert Frost. I'll read out the first stanza. The way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree. I'll repeat it again. The way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree. See, in this stanza, you can find two words as a difficult. First one is shook. That means shake. Here, the crow shakes its body so that the snow will fall down. The second word is hemlock, a poisonous tree with small white flowers. Hemlock is a tree with which is considered to be as a poisonous tree with white flowers. Okay, you can observe the pictures in the slide also. Person standing under the hemlock tree where crow is shaking. Here another picture you can see whole tree of hemlock, fully grown up hemlock tree with white flowers. That actually this crow as well as the hemlock tree were treated as sad, means symbols of sad, bad, gloomy, like that. Okay, in this poem, in this first stanza of this poem, our poet Robert Frost would like to explain like this. The poem is set in a scene where the poet is in a bad mood and is walking by a tree. What is the tree? Hemlock tree. Hemlock tree is a poisonous tree. As he passes by, a crow happens to throw some snow dust on him. Whether it falls on him, his head, or shoulders is unknown, as there is no specific mention in the poem. Also, the readers are left in doubt about the bird's specific action also. Whether the crow was landing, shivering, with cold, or readjusting itself on the branch, or taking off. These are not known, not given by poet, but some action is going on with the crow. If it happens to send some particles of snow upon the author, here the two agents of nature, the hemlock tree and the crow, are signifiers of sadness and gloom, just like the poet's mood was in the opening scene. Here in this stanza, poet would like to tell that he was gloomy, sad, in bad mood in the beginning. At that moment, same time, he was experiencing like he came under hemlock tree, and where crow is also there on the tree, which is shedding some snow, means some snow shedding on him. He did not mention where it is shedding, or head or shoulder, where, but he is saying that all the three, my mood as well as where the situation is in bad, means crow and hemlock tree are symbols of gloomy, sad, bad mood. Same way, his mood is also bad in the beginning. Let's get into second stanza. What he got changed in his mood from second stanza. Okay, I'll read out the second stanza. Has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had ruined. Again, I'm reading. Has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had ruined. In this stanza, you can find one difficult word as ruined. That means held in a regret, means some worry. What do you want to say from this stanza? Because of that experience, he has ruined. He has lost his bad mood. He has changed into good mood. See, you can find the pictures in this slide also. Change of mood in individuals. Same way that has been taken place with our poet Robert Frost. In this stanza, Robert Frost would like to explain like this. For reasons unknown, the author was having a terrible day, but the falling of the snow on his head lifted his mood instantly. He had already spent his day in a bad mood, but the rest of it was saved by the crow and the hemlock tree. Generally, hemlock tree and crow are used for negative references, but the poet used them beautifully to portray that inauspicious things can bring joy and happiness too. That means, as he was having bad mood, but the crow, hemlock treated as inauspicious things, but they brought him joyful day which was present in rest of the day. Means he is saying that he got happiness even from bad things. One must not take things for granted and should be open and accept whichever way the nature chooses to bless us. Means he is saying that nature is always bless us to get into good, but our thinking is only the different. We are considering some things as gloomy, as sad or sad, but if we think in positive way, we can enjoy our day. That he want to tell. Okay, let's get into brief summary of the poem given by Robert Frost. The short poem by Robert Frost throws light upon the unimaginable healing power of nature and teeny things. From a bad mood to ill health, there is nothing that can't be cured by nature. The author was experiencing one such bad day when a crow's movement near a hemlock tree dusted snow upon him. The snow instantly makes him happier. His day gets a lot better. Thus, the supremacy of nature as a whole made him realize how petty his problem was. That means the nature has made his problem as very, very, very small. That means very petty, small. That much small thing has been made him to change into good mood. The fact that hemlock tree is poisonous combined with crow being the indicator of doom and fear are used in the poem as the carriers of happiness in the life of narrator is ironical. The poet, through these objects, has tried to highlight that sometimes creatures linked with negative aspects of life can be the bringer of change and happiness. Being outdoors in nature with all its unpredictability can benefit anyone, anywhere, at any time. This was the summary. See, you can also find this meaning in the two lines given in introduction part. Let us see the introduction part. See, the whole summary can be seen in these two lines. Always, always a larger significance. A little thing touches a larger thing. That is the summary hidden in these two lines given by Robert Frost. Let's get into next slide. In this slide, we are going to study poetic devices, that is literary devices used in the poem by Robert Frost. Okay, first of all, what is the rhyming scheme he used in this poem is A B A B C D C D. Rhyming scheme is A B A B C D C D. Let us see how it is in the first stanza and second stanza. See the first stanza, you can observe how the rhyming is followed in this A B A B C D C D. In this first stanza, you can find A B A B only. Let us see. the way a crow. You see the last word crow. And the third line, the dust of snow. Crow, snow. The last word of first line end with crow. In third line end with snow. Means look like a. And second line, see the second line, choke down on me. Fourth line, from a hemlock tree, me and tree. See end words, me and tree look like alike. That's why the rhyming is followed A B A B. First line A, second line B, third line B A, fourth line B. Same way, you can see the in second stanza C D C D. Has given my heart. The third line see and saved some part means end word of first line is heart, end word of third line is part. Heart, part, look alike means see, seem. If you see the second line, a change of mood. Fourth line, of a day I had read means end words are mood, read. That means look alike. Mood, read. D. That's why we can say that in this stanza, it is following the rhyming C, D, C, D. First line C, second line D, third line C, fourth line D. Means, on whole, in this poem, the rhyming followed by poet is A, B, C, D. Okay, what is the next poetic device? Let us see. See, the poetic device we can find here alliteration. What is alliteration? The occurrence of the same letter or sound at the beginning of adjacent or closely connected words. Means you can have same letter or same kind of sound from adjacent words in a line of a stanza. See here the line given in the poem, the first stanza, has given my heart. Has, the word has begins with H, letter H. Same way, in that same line, you can find some one more word with heart is also beginning with H. Means this kind of framing is called alliteration. You can say also find in another line as and saved some part. That means the saved word is beginning with yes. The next some word, the word some is also beginning with yes. This is called alliteration. This is followed. This is one kind of literary device, poetic device used by Robert Frost in his poem. Okay, let's discuss next poetic device is enjambment. Enjambment. What does that mean? When the same sentence continues to the next line without the use of any punctuation marks, it is called enjambment. It has been used throughout the poem. See, if you see the poem, the stanzas, you cannot find any kind of punctuation marks like comma, semicolon, colon. No such punctuation marks has been used. That's why it is also called a poetic device. Enjambment poetic device has been followed in the poem of Robert Frost. If you see, get back to the stanzas. See the first stanza. First stanza, you will not find any kind of punctuation marks like comma, full stop, or semicolon, colon. Same way, if you see the second stanza also, you cannot find any kind of punctuation marks, and only the last point is having full stop. Okay, but you cannot find at the end of any line with any kind of punctuation marks like comma, semicolon, colon, hyphen. Such punctuation marks are not being found. Okay, with this we'll cover the literary devices used by Robert Frost in his poem. Next, With this, we'll end up with this poem. This is the end of this poem. Hope students understood the poem clearly. Until next video, keep learning, keep practicing. Bye bye.